very hard to explain the feeling of driving an exotic car. It's gonna make you think different. It's gonna make you want more. It's just gonna change your mindset because you get in this car and it's so different from what you're used to, and it costs so much money that it does definitely make you think different for sure. The worst day so far that has happened was a client tried to steal my Urus.
What? Steal how? If you had to list one characteristic that you think you have to have to be a successful entrepreneur, what would you say is for you?
Honestly, for me, I think it's just...
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Millennial's Choice Show. My name is Matthew Ablican. As you know, I'm with my brother from the same mother.
What's going on, guys? Danny Ablican here.
We're in the 305 Fort Lauderdale, Florida area, and we're with the owner of Murci Luxury, Jayden Bloom. Jayden, welcome to the channel.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Fellow Canadian. Fellow Canadian. In America.
Only place to be. I'm from Vancouver, from the West Coast.
Okay, nice.
And COVID was kind of the year where I knew I wanted to leave. I went down to Mexico for about 6 to 7 weeks. Everything was fully open. Just couldn't believe that everything was closed in Vancouver. Toronto got hit hard too.
Yes. Yeah.
You guys were closed for like a year and a half.
You were
Gyms,
locked down.
everything.
Yeah.
So it made no sense to me why, you know, everything was fully shut down.
Gyms were closed, but then you got McDonald's open.
Made no
and
sense.
LCBO.
Movie theaters were open for a bit while the gyms were closed too in Vancouver. It made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I really need to, you know, leave and go somewhere else. And then 2021, I got into crypto and I ended up doing a pretty big project in that space. And I came down to Miami a few times for different conferences, for different crypto conferences. And I just fell in love with the city. And when I, you know, went back to Vancouver, I was like, okay, I think Miami is a place I want to move to. And I just kind of YOLO'd it, packed up my bags. And me and my business partner at the time, Connor, we came down together. And then I started Murci Luxury, just kind of on the side. We started with 2 cars on Turo, had no idea what the hell we were doing. And then now we have about 30 cars, just completely off Turo, just private clientele only.
Dude, congratulations. That's dope.
Yeah. Thank you.
Off air, you're telling me some of your clients, some pretty big people, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We have, Floyd Mayweather is a big client of ours. He's rented, this is the 4th time he's rented from us. He currently has our Cullinan. I'm really good friends with a big reggaeton artist called Lunai. Okay. So he rents a lot from us too. I get a lot of like artists in that genre as well from him.
That's sick.
But yeah, we have a lot of big clients.
So people watching this might be like, well, why would Floyd rent when that guy could buy pretty much anything? Like why does he rent, do you think, like from your experience with him? And
so I don't think he's the one who specifically rents. Like he's the one who rents the cars, but he gives it to his entourage that he's always with. So I know his manager is the one who always drives the car, but he's the one always paying.
That makes sense though. Why would he kind of buy them the cars? It's probably makes more sense financially for him to just rent them out. And
it's funny because the first time we did a rental with him, I thought the car was for him. So we brought that and one of our Bentegas down to Opa-locka. It's a private airport down here in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
He came off the jet, we met him, met his team, and I actually drove the Bentayga to his house in Star Island. And we pull up to his house and he had like 12 cars outside in the driveway, all white rims. Yeah. I was like, why on earth is he renting a car for me? And then from there, I kind of found out that, okay, he's given, you know, his guys are the ones driving and he's obviously taking his cars that he has, but he always travels with a huge team. And I know right now, I don't think it's announced. I don't think I can say who it is, but he has an exhibition fight coming up next month.
It's not Manny Pacquiao.
It is Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, they announced it.
Oh, they announced it.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, I wasn't too sure. But he's doing an 8-week camp. Yeah, just in case, you know.
You never know.
Just in case.
Shout out to Floyd Money May.
Yeah, that's
for
sick,
real, bro. And he's doing an 8-week camp, so he has the Cullinan for 8 weeks, and he pays every time too.
That's dope.
So that's another thing. I've been trying to get a shout out from him. I've been trying to just get like a picture I can post on my Instagram, and it's just hard because he always takes it for weeks on end, and I can't give him the car for free. Yeah. If it was a 1, 2, 3 day, I'd give him the car for free for a picture, 100%. But he always pays. He always takes it for a long time.
Floyd, my man, if somehow you watch this, we're gonna tag in this clip. Gotta hook up, my man.
A few Canadians trying to come up here.
Exactly. That would be, I already know a picture, you know, even just of Floyd in front of the Cullinan that I can post on my own IG. I mean, that alone is credibility. That is just almost, that picture alone probably costs 100,000. Let's be realistic. You know, I don't know what he charges for stuff like that, but it's probably up there.
It's up there.
If you get the photo because of this interview, you'll shout us out.
100%.
Millennial.
I'll show you guys out anyways. What you mean?
My guy.
I appreciate it, bro.
I got you guys.
You know, a few entrepreneurs are trying to do their thing, you know.
That's right.
That's how we roll. But man, I was checking out your IG. You guys got a lot of stuff going on, you know, a lot of different cars, you know. I think you're into fitness too. You know, talk to us a little bit about that, because we talk a lot about mindset on the pod. You know, what does working out and being fit do for you in terms of, you know, your work? You know, does it put you in the right mindset? You know, talk us through that a little bit.
For sure. I've been playing sports my entire life. That's kind of how I got into fitness. And then I actually became a personal trainer after college.
Okay.
So I have an arts degree. I have a criminology degree. Law school was my goal while I was in university. Graduated, was not what I wanted to do at all. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I was always into fitness. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna try and get a job at Equinox. There's one location in Vancouver that just opened, and I knew it was just gonna be a good way for me to like network and meet people. So I was a personal trainer for 2 years, and I mean, for me, working out is just something that I've always done, and it's always been part of my routine. Wake up, small breakfast, go to the gym, and that just kind of sets me straight. Like even a week ago, I was kind of sick for a few days, and I was just kind of in bed, not doing much, and if I can't move even for one day, I'm going crazy mentally. You know, I'm like depressed, I'm stressed, I just do not feel like myself. I feel like for me, working out is just, you get your mind right first, then everything kind of falls in place. If your mind's not there, it's just impossible to get anything done. It's impossible to accomplish anything. Like a clear mind is by far the most important thing you can have, you know? So.
Definitely, dude. And I was hitting up the gym like for the longest I've ever hit it up, and no excuses. I stopped going, had my kid, and I have to say, when I was working out, I think it did more for me mentally, surprisingly, 100%. Than physical. Even though physical, I felt great, mentally, I was just in a different zone. Like I just felt great. I was able to focus more easily, you know, and it just really helped me in a different way that I never really thought, you know, it could, you know, once you're consistent with it enough. So I definitely want to get back into it and just hit up the gym, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Same here. I've been starting my routine. I'm actually down like 14, 15 pounds.
Congrats. That's awesome.
May not seem like it, but I knew where I was over the weight limit. Actually, Larry, the guy you just met, he's like, just tell them, because he owns his own gym. He's like, just tell them you're too short for your weight. I said, yeah, it's true, but I'm overweight, so I got to work on it. But it's just about not only physical, but it's mental, 100%.
And things like that are going to happen. You know, life happens, you get busy, you fall off track for a month, but it's just about getting back into your routine. You know, the longer you fall off, the harder it's going to be, not only to get back on track, but also to get back to where you left off. So if you can pick up those things right away, and, you know, a few months even, it's not going to kill you. You can get back in the gym and kind of, you know, fix those things. But that's something I always told my clients when I was a personal trainer, is I said, you know, if you can like understand that this isn't about how you look physically, it's more about how you feel mentally. Once you kind of get into the routine of working out and you start enjoying it and you start seeing the mental gains, the physical gains are going to come no matter what. You're in the gym. If you're eating clean, you're working out, you're going to look good, you're going to feel good. That's right. So as long as you can get your mental right in the beginning, the physical is going to follow right after.
And if you conquer the morning, you conquer the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that.
So what made you get into like cars?
So I've always loved cars my entire life. You know, I grew up playing Need for Speed.
Yes.
My dad's been a huge car guy his whole life. So I kind of, you know, my dad's is an entrepreneur. My parents are immigrants from South Africa. Okay. So they moved to Canada with nothing. My dad started his own businesses. So I could, you know, I saw the cars that he was getting, and it was always like one step. And then he started getting the BMWs, and then I think he had an R8 for a bit, then a McLaren, like all these crazy cars, and always loved cars. I've always been super fascinated by them. And one of my goals was, you know, I've always wanted a fleet of cars. You know, I hated just thinking I could only own one car and that's it. And so, you know, I moved to Miami. I had an M2 competition BMW. It was my baby back in Vancouver. Finally was able to afford that, got that, my baby. And I brought that down here with my business partner's M5. And we started renting these cars on Turo. And yeah, just from there, we kind of saw, even on Turo, the money was pretty good. A lot of headaches with Turo. You know, I hated working on that platform, but we kind of just saw the growth and the demand for these cars. And then just over time, we started getting, you know, we got another car and another car and another car. And kind of like my dad, just kept stepping up and up and up. And now we kind of have every car you can imagine. But it all started just by my love, you know, from cars. And I knew Miami was a niche market. So I kind of capitalize on both of those different things.
Yeah, that's super smart. And I was going to say, like, I feel like you're not really an entrepreneur until you have that passion and love for it, right? Otherwise, you know, you probably go through so much headaches, through so much shit.
Man.
And it needs to be worth it, right? For you to go through it. Otherwise, you know, a lot of people think, oh, you know, let me start my business. I could take any day off I want. I can take holidays off, things like that. But we all know the real entrepreneurs, you never really stop.
I've been taking a day off since I started this business. You know, it's literally 24/7, 7 days a week. Even if I were to go on vacation, just being the sole like decision maker and the owner of this company, I mean, I just obviously I trust my guys and I trust my team, but you're always gonna in the back of your mind know that if you're not overseeing everything, something could go wrong. And if you're not there to fix it right away, it's just a stressful thought. So even if I'm just relaxing, you know, by the pool, if I'm down by the beach, I'm on my phone. I'm always checking to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I feel like that's always going to be there. Yeah. And it does suck because I'd love to just, you know, take time off, unplug.
Yeah.
And that's where like having a 9 to 5 is amazing. You get your 2-week vacation and you unplug. You don't care about it's not your company that's, you know, that's relying on you. It's, you're working your job and you can take that time off and that's it. You're getting paid no matter what.
And then when you clock out at 5, like you're not really thinking twice about it, right? Exactly. You're just kind of like, okay, I'm going to be home and
why
have that
are
separation.
we doing this? Why are we doing it?
I ask myself that every day sometimes.
You know what it is? It's because we want all the rewards that come with it.
Exactly.
So you put in the work, but you're going to get all the rewards. The 9 to 5, you know what life they're going to live and it's a limited one.
It's set.
There's no goal setting.
No.
You can't go, okay, I made X amount this month, the next month I want to 10X that.
No.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't work.
You're on a set salary unless you go to your boss and ask for a pay raise. You're not getting one, right?
Which realistically speaking, you know, for the average person, maybe you'll get an extra couple grand a year if you're lucky.
Exactly.
And obviously we all know with inflation, like especially in Canada and the States too, it's not really going to do much, right?
No
for
way.
us. So it's always long-term thinking, I find, you know, with good entrepreneurs. And I want to ask, I'd be pissed if I didn't ask you this and I forgot.
For sure.
What's the worst experience or day that you had with your company in terms of a client? Like
someone crashed the Lambo.
Did someone crash something? Like, has that ever happened to you? And you're like, no, like what happened?
So I've never had any big accidents. No, like ride-off accidents. I've had little fender benders here, like very small, minor things. The worst day so far that has happened was a client tried to steal my Urus.
What? Steal your
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was we work with a lot of brokers. So I have a lot of brokers I get as clients. We give them a broker rate. They, you know, throw a little bit on top and they make their money.
Cool.
Like, what do you mean, like realtors?
No, like car brokers. So
okay.
So they'll go find clients. They have like an extensive network. They'll find a client. I give them a wholesale rate, usually 20% lower than my retail price.
Yeah.
So they'll throw that on top and they make their money that way.
Kind of like middlemen in a way.
Exactly.
Kind of guys that are going out there for you
Exactly.
and saying, we have someone, you know, with a good connection.
Exactly.
Okay.
But this was the biggest mistake we made. We had, for 6 months, the business was amazing. I had no accidents, no nothing. So you start to get a little relaxed with who comes into your systems, right? So we got this guy. He was a first-time client to this broker. We did like a very soft background check, came back clean. I think he was his early 20s, you know. So we didn't think anything, gave him the car. I have trackers on all my cars. I have engine cuts on all my cars. So just from my phone, I can kill an engine.
Okay.
So if you're driving 100 miles per hour, just by a click of a button, I can cut that engine and the car won't start. It'll just turn off wherever you are.
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah. Very dangerous if they're driving that fast. Or
for sure.
So we obviously have never done anything like that.
Yeah.
But this client rented my Urus for 2 days.
How much are those, sorry to interrupt, how much are those retail for?
The retail for about $1,000 a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
So $2,000.
$2,000, exactly.
Yeah.
And he wanted to extend the 3rd day. So we said, okay, cool. Send us, because we have a mile limit on our cars. On a Urus, we do 100 miles a day allowance.
Makes sense.
Anything over is $5 a mile.
You don't want them driving.
And that's where the depreciation kicks in, right?
Yeah.
You can, you know, if somebody rents a Urus for a day for $1,000 but puts 500 miles on, I'm losing money.
Yeah.
Right? So we do that mile. Every single company down here does that. But everybody, it varies, like the price per mile after varies company to company. We like to keep ours a little bit higher just so it doesn't, you know, encourage people to go over miles.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so
Deters them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we hit him up. He wanted to extend. We said, okay, cool. Send us a picture of the dash so we can make sure you're not over miles. Send us a video of the car so make sure there's no damage, you know. Because if there is, depending on the damage, you know, the car will have to come back or we'll just throw a higher deposit on. This guy did 700 miles in 2 days.
And what was his limit?
200.
200.
He was 500 over at $5 a mile. So he was $2,500 over his deposit.
Dude, that's crazy.
Crazy. So we did a $1,000 deposit. So we were out of pocket $1,500 already. Yeah. So I said, bro, if you want to extend, you got to, you know, send us another deposit. He's like, oh, okay, you know what? I don't want to do that. I'm going to just come pick up the car. I was like, cool, but you're not getting your deposit back. Like, we're out of pocket $1,500.
Yeah, for sure.
He said, okay, no worries. We go to, I sent my guy to go pick up the car, and he's about 5 minutes away. I checked to see where the car is. He's driving north. He said he was at this location, and then I checked, car's gone. He's driving that car. I'm like, all right, something's going on. Kill the engine. This is actually in Fort Lauderdale. Kill the engine. And I was like, yo, cut the engine. Like, we're coming to get that car. You know, I'm gonna call the police, etc. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, did you call the police? Like,
no, because if you do that, then the police report gets added to the car. It hits the Carfax.
ah, yeah, you don't want that because then it's devalues it, right?
Exactly. So you don't really want to get the cops involved unless you really have to. You can kind of figure out the situation on your own. It's always better to do that.
We'll just get a couple of guys that were here to go.
Now I have those guys.
Now you link me up.
Exactly. And so I cut the engine, and he left the key in the car, and he just booked it. He just left.
So he's trying to steal it.
He was trying to steal it.
Wow.
Oh, this guy had balls, eh?
Well, listen to this. We get to the car. It's in the middle of the road, right? In Fort Lauderdale, in the middle of an intersection, completely fucked up.
What?
Both sides of the cars sideswiped, door handle ripped off. What? Keyed, like $12,000 worth of damage.
Bro, what did this guy do to this car?
I don't know.
Like what?
Literally, like $12,000. It cost me $12,000 to fix this car.
So what happened after that? Like, did you go after him? Like,
so we had his insurance and his ID. So
Yeah.
we hit his insurance, and luckily we only rent to people that have full coverage insurance and rental coverage. So we were covered.
that's good.
But I mean, it was just car was in the shop for 2 months. It was a huge headache, you know, that whole situation. So that was by far probably the worst day that I've had in this business.
Dude, that
But
sounds
12
stressful.
grand is not that bad because like somebody hit my 5 Series just by making a right turn and I was making a left. It was like 4 grand, just a few dents in Canada.
Yeah.
So 12 grand is not so bad on a Urus.
On a Urus.
Wow.
With 4,000, brand new Urus, 4,000 miles.
That just sucks.
We had just bought it too.
That's
We bought
so
it from an
frustrating.
MLB player.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he sold it. Jorge Soler.
That's
he plays for
sick.
the Marlins. He it was brand new, got such a good deal, and it's such a nice spec. It was like the 3rd rental, and that happened.
Frig.
But we have attorneys that work for us, so we always go for, you know, loss of use because it's a rental, loss of depreciation, physical damage. So we always make money on these.
That's
insurance
okay.
claims.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have to in
have
that
to.
situation where, especially when the car is being fixed, it's not out there in the market earning you money too.
Exactly.
You got to account for that as well too.
Exactly.
Right? As a
But-
business.
Exactly. But the worst day I've ever had in the business,
Yeah.
I had a Lamborghini Urus get repoed by the bank, lost $65,000 in a month.
Why?
What
So
happened?
with certain banks and leasing companies, in the contract it states that you cannot rent that car out. And we're very good with like hide, like there's ways to, you know, hide and make sure the bank doesn't find out you're renting the cars. This bank in particular is really strict with rentals, and we didn't know that.
Got it.
And we were posting the license plate on Instagram,
Shit,
and they just
caught
they were
it.
on top of our Instagram, and boom, sent a repo guy, and we put 65 grand down on that car and lost it.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I was going to ask you, like, how does it work in terms of obviously you probably don't pay for the cars in cash and stuff. You probably take out loans on them and things like that, and you know you make the difference, right? In
Exactly.
the month. Yeah, and like so banks don't really like that, eh? Because
No.
there's just more risk, right?
And we work with a lot of leasing companies because they require small down payments and balloon payments at the end. So the monthlies are pretty low, and it's so easy for us. I mean, a lot of these cars, 3 days were in the green, and they're out
huge.
15, 20 days a month.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, they're just really easy to work with, but at the same time, they're very strict. So I mean, that was the only situation I've had like that. And I mean, we're very careful with what we're posting, what we're showing, all these different things.
Yeah.
I get a lot of investors now too, so it's even better because the cars aren't in our name
Okay.
and not in my name. So there's no way for the bank to link that John Doe owns this car, but he's renting it with Murci
Right.
and all these different things.
So what do they do? These guys are Florida residents, and they'll own a car and they'll say, "Hey, rent it out while I'm not here."
So either I get guys like that. I also have guys that buy us cars specifically to rent, just to like kind of diversify their investments.
Rent for them, and then
Exactly.
they get a piece, and then you guys get your piece, and you're happy with it.
Exactly. And one of the things that I do that other companies don't is I allow the car to stay with the investor. I just require if when I get a rental, they need to bring it to me, and and if it's difficult for me to do that, I'll just get the car out of the fleet. So I've got a lot of good investors. They're all super easy to deal with, super easy to work with.
That makes a lot of
But
sense.
yeah, man, they're driving free Lamborghinis every single month,
Shoot.
which is crazy. The car is getting rented 12, 15 days a month. And when it's not being on a rental, it's with them.
They
So
have it.
and we do 50-50.
So that
It's like the
kind of
Airbnb of car rentals.
yeah.
That's exactly what
So
it
that
is.
kind of
Yeah.
differentiates you from other luxury car rentals,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you let the investors keep their car so that the
Exactly.
other days it's not rented out. They have it. Right?
Exactly. Because the way I looked at it, right, is if I'm an investor, and even when I wasn't being an owner of this company and having some of these cars in my own name, I loved the fact that I could drive these cars when they weren't being rented, and I knew they were paying for themselves. So I said one of the biggest things that these investors want too is to be able to drive these cars for free. You know, obviously they want to buy a Lamborghini and rent out that Lamborghini and make really good money, but when it's just sitting, it's just sitting. Why not allow them to drive the car?
Right.
So that has just allowed me to get an insane amount of investor interest. Like I've got a guy on Friday who wants to buy me an Aventador. He said he has 350,000. He wants to get an Aventador and a Urus.
Yeah.
Like specifically for rentals.
That's dope, dude.
I've got a guy buying me an STO. I've got I just get crazy cars now from a lot of these investors, and everything's on that monthly payments, insurance, maintenance. I just rent it out, take my 50-50 split, call it a day.
You're happy, they're happy. Makes sense for
Exactly.
both of you guys, right?
They give you the car,
Yeah,
and then it's 50-50 from there.
exactly.
Nice.
But I do have a lot of cars that stay with me as well. I have a lot of investors that are just like, you know what? I'd rather you just keep the car. I have no interest in driving this car. I just want to make money.
Right.
So then the car just stays. And it's easier for me to rent out the car that way because I do get a lot of last minute rental requests.
And I was going to ask you about that. Sorry to interrupt you. Have you
Yeah.
ever had a situation where someone wanted to rent out a luxury car and the owner had it and they were just like to you, no, like
Yep.
I need it, and that happens?
Yep.
Is that frustrating for you? Or?
I get rid of the car.
Oh, you get rid of the car.
I
What do
don't
you
give
mean
them-
by that? You get rid of the car? Like
I cancel the management contract and I tell them, hey, look, go find somebody else to rent out your car. You're losing me business. You know, when I lose a client because I don't have the car available, it's bad luck on my end, and I'm here to make money. So if you want to use that as your personal car, that's cool.
Yeah.
Just don't interfere with my business.
They're not reliable.
That's interesting.
Exactly.
That's really interesting, man. Because do you find that happens a lot or not really?
Never.
Oh, really?
Never. A lot of these investors that I have are really, really good. Like they know that, you know, because I told them, I say, look, enjoy the car, but making money has to be number one priority. This has to be an investment over your personal, you know, preferences and your personal use.
Yeah.
And they're all on the same page.
And if
makes
something
sense.
happens to their car, that's where the insurance comes in.
Exactly. So what we do is if the deposit can cover whatever happens to the car, we'll use the client's deposit. Anything that's not going to be covered with the deposit, we hit their insurance.
Right.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
And obviously, you guys require them, you said, to have 100% insurance because I think here in the States, correct me if I'm wrong, like their drivers don't have to have insurance as like opposed to Canada where we're from.
Yes.
We have to have insurance.
Yeah. Well, you are supposed to have insurance here too. Like when you buy a car, you can't leave the dealership without insurance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But a
okay,
lot
cool.
of people do drive around with no insurance, especially in Miami.
Is that, I guess they get the insurance when they're purchasing the car and then I guess maybe they cancel it later?
Exactly.
Got it.
I don't think
Makes
it's super
sense.
common. I don't think that's super common, but I do know, yeah, it does happen for sure. There's a lot of crazy drivers out here as well. So the insurance is expensive in Miami.
For real?
Yeah, very expensive.
What's your favorite
insane.
luxury car?
That I have
Yeah.
currently, well, I'm getting an STO. I think that's going to be my favorite. But the Huracan Evo Spider is my favorite. We have two of them, a white one and a green one. They're just so much fun to drive. Just top down, V10 engine, just so much fun.
That's
Can
deadly.
I put the baby seat in the back or no?
Unfortunately, there's no back seat, but maybe in the passenger seat.
in the passenger seat.
Shucks.
James will have a good time.
James, imagine. So what would be like the dream car you have in your fleet that you don't have right now?
Probably an Aventador, which I think
yeah?
I'm getting very soon.
Yeah.
My business partner has an Aventador SV. And that car is insane.
Yeah.
Just sounds the craziest sounding car I've ever heard in my life.
Well, they discontinued them, right? Because
Did.
they want to bring out
Revolto is coming now.
electric.
It's not, that one's not electric. I think it's a semi-hybrid,
Okay.
but I know it's also a V12.
Yeah.
I went to the unveiling out here at the Lamborghini dealership.
That's
Nice.
Super, super nice car.
That's dope.
Yeah.
If you had to list one characteristic that you think you have to have to be a successful entrepreneur, one is, I like to ask a question because one is very hard. You have to have a few, but what would you say would be your top characteristic in order to, you know, persevere and come out on the other side successful? What would you say is for you?
Honestly, for me, I think it's just being able to manage your emotions well and being a bit emotionless, because there's stuff that happens all the time in business, especially being an entrepreneur, where, you know, obviously you want to get a little emotional and it sucks and you have to deal with it. But that's when from people that I've dealt with in business, the ones that have always been the worst to deal with when it comes to any sort of business is those that are very emotional, because it's just very hard to sit down and have like sane, honest conversations with them when everything's,
Yeah.
you know, personal or emotional or whatever it may be. So I think that and then just perseverance, just always just like knowing that things are going to happen on a daily basis, but just seeing the big picture and just continuously working towards that. You know, there's been many times in my business where I wanted to quit, many, many times. And there were months where we made very little money and we dealt with 100 different problems, you know? So, but I knew that if I quit, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the big picture was where I am today, and it happened just because of just showing up every single day. So
Taking action is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've been going on such a streak that even his wife is with us here today with our kids. And they're like, we got to go on a resort. We got to take a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We've been plugged in for so long in our industry, like real estate and mortgages. It's been bad for the last like 2 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
So we're grateful that we have a business for 11 years where it's repeat and referrals. Business is coming in, but it's been a tough challenge. And every single day, it's like an emotional roller coaster. It's up and down. It's like, why am I doing this? Why don't I take the 9 to 5? Why don't I do this and all that stuff? So it's like just continuing and persevering. But while we're in these interviews, for example, with the guys you just saw, like, we feel good. We're like, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're doing this for a reason.
Yeah.
But you got to be reminded of that. Otherwise, it's so go, go, go that you're like, why am I doing this? You forget. You forget the
100%.
goal. You forget the mission.
Exactly. And you also have to realize that any business you start, any industry, the grass isn't green on the other side. Like, you're gonna have your own problems, your own headaches. It's just business.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a business that does not come with headaches. As an entrepreneur, it just doesn't exist.
That, and I don't think anything is really quick in terms of quick money, right? Maybe quick problems, but not really quick money. And I'm sure you probably, with the crypto experience or crypto background, you probably see that a lot in young people now. They kind of want that quick money by hitting an altcoin or whatever it is. But I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't dabble in too much crypto, but it is very unlikely to invest, a little bit of money and then you just become a millionaire overnight.
100%.
Like, I feel like people make it seem like that happens a lot, but it's kind of, rare.
Very
I think,
rare.
right?
Yeah,
It doesn't
sure.
happen every day.
No. And people only hear about the stories where that happens. But to like even get to that, I mean, it's complete luck. My biggest investment, I turned 5,000 into 500,000 in 30 days. And I lost it all because I didn't sell.
Oh, you didn't sell? No way.
What was it?
Safe Moon.
I heard about
of the
Safe
Safe
Moon.
Moon.
I got in when I was like 2 days old. My business partner was up $5 million, didn't sell. Lost it all.
And him too?
Yeah.
You guys didn't sell?
No.
Buddy, I woke up one day, I had like $1,000 in some random thing. It was like a quadrillion.
Oh,
It was
tokens?
like a glitch.
Oh, really?
I tried to sell it, it wasn't liquid. And I own a real estate portfolio. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I put that in there and then I couldn't liquidate, I said, this is a scam.
Well, exactly.
It's not a scam.
Pumping.
Yep,
Dump,
it's
yeah.
a scam. And a lot of those like smaller coins were like that. You invest money, there's no liquidity, and you need liquidity to sell.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that was a huge issue with those little, small altcoins and everything like that. But SafeMoon got to a huge market cap. Like, we were able to sell that amount of money.
That's crazy.
I got my dad involved early on too. It was up $1 million, didn't sell.
Dude,
No.
that's
So,
huge.
I mean, it sucked.
All
would've
right.
paid, yeah.
Guys, this is not financial advice or anything like that, or accounting advice. Top 5 cryptos that are going to make people rich. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
I was ready to go.
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
No, I'm not really involved in that space much anymore, to be honest.
Off the air. It's okay. Let me know after.
Okay, I got you. I have a lot of friends that are involved in that space still and stuff, and I do believe in it.
Yeah.
I think Bitcoin will get to 100, 150,000, 200,000. I think the technology behind, just blockchain technology in general is so useful, and I like NFT tech is very useful too.
We'll talk after.
We'll talk.
It's the technology though, like blockchain and things like that. That's getting used in the real world.
Yep.
Some of these most of these coins probably won't last.
No.
Yeah.
I definitely think
Definitely
it's the
not, yeah.
future. Absolutely. I definitely think it is also a lottery in terms of putting in $100 and 1,000
100%.
Xing.
Well, it's
right?
the same as the stock market, right? When
Yeah.
you buy a coin like XRP, for example, that everybody knows of,
Yeah.
you're basically investing into a company, investing into Ripple, right?
Yeah.
There are obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, a little bit different, but every single one of these little altcoins are just companies that are trying to do something in the space. They're trying to create something that hasn't been done before. So it's the same as the stock market. You're investing in a company like Apple, Google, whatever it is, and you're betting on that stock to go up and that they're gonna be doing big things in the future, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't look at it like that. They look at it as like just gambling,
Yeah.
right?
Do you think AI is going to play a huge role in your industry in the future in terms of the luxury car rental industry? Like, do you think these new cars coming out, obviously, like, Elon, he's making these self-driving cars, the Teslas and stuff. Technology might not be great for those cars right now, but do you think that's going to reach a certain point where people might not find the need or want to rent out luxury cars? Or you think there's always going to be that niche where people want to have, the nice car?
I think there's always going to be that niche.
For sure.
It's just human nature. You want to flex. You want to show off. You want to be at the top. And, I could have easily started an economy rental car company or something like that, like Hertz or Enterprise, one of these companies. But I mean, one of the things that I see when it comes to renting Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Rolls Royces, is that people rent these cars to stand out, to flex.
Yeah.
You know, they literally just want to drive in circles and show off that they're in a Lamborghini. Like that's the main reason why they're renting these cars. Obviously, I get a lot of music video requests, events, stuff like that. But I mean, when I'm driving a Lamborghini top down, it's just a different feeling. You know, you're
sure.
driving down the street, everyone's looking at you saying, who the hell is this guy?
Shooter.
Like, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, and it's just like an insane feeling. It's very hard to explain the feeling of driving an exotic car, you know, and just feeling like the man, just feeling like that guy.
That's
So
dope. Yeah.
you know, and it does make you think differently too. Like I tell a lot of people, if you've never driven a Lamborghini, even like a Bentley, for example, super luxurious car, it's gonna make you think different. It's gonna make you want more. It's just gonna change your mindset.
Yeah.
Because you get in this car and it's so different from what you're used to, and it costs so much money that it does definitely make you think different for sure.
Yeah, that's dope. Jayden, man, it's been a pleasure. Tell everybody where they could find you, man.
For sure. So my Instagram is at Jayden Bloom. That's my personal Instagram. My business page is at Murci Luxury. My website is murciluxury.com. Any of you guys from the podcast that want to rent, hit me up. I'll take care of you guys. I'll give you my wholesale pricing so you guys can get a Lamborghini for next to nothing.
Murci Luxury, baby. If you're in Miami, check out my guy, Jayden. He's here. He's got the hookup, the connect. We appreciate it, man. This was awesome. Listen, next time we're here, we're going to hit you up and drive an Aventador. Anything you got?
guys.
Last time we were in Phoenix, we were interviewing a big former mobster, like John Gotti's like right-hand man. It was just him and I. We didn't bring the family. I'm like, what should we get? So when we were looking at our app and we're like, okay, what should we book? The highest form of luxury they had was like a GT Mustang.
No way.
And we took it. We
what
had
app
fun.
was this?
Where were we booking it from?
Was it Turo?
It starts with
No,
an A.
no, not Turo.
It was a rental company.
Avion or something like that. Oh, no.
Alamo?
Alamo.
Yeah.
Alamo.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what we booked it from. We didn't find guys like you. So we booked it for 2 days, but we were ripping it in the streets. And that was like a GT.
And it's fun, right?
It was so much fun.
It
So I
just
could
adds
only
to the
imagine a
experience.
Lambo.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
just adds to your stay in Phoenix and Miami.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of the experience.
Well, if you're in Miami, you got to do it, man.
You have.
100%.
I got the Yukon, extended edition. We got 7 people with us.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful car too.
It's different.
My Escalade is one of my biggest movers.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, so people still love those cars, and it's a beautiful car.
But next time we're in Florida, we got to get like a coupe. We
100%.
got to just
I
get
got you guys.
something
When
for
it's
us.
just us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yellow Huracan, I got you guys.
Appreciate
That's
it, bro.
right. I got you
Thank you very
guys.
much, man.
Thank
It was
you
a
guys.
pleasure.
Awesome.
Like, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having
Murci
me.
Luxury. Check him out. Jayden Bloom. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. You guys got to get us there by the end of January or end of 2024.
Yeah, we
This
need
is
your help,
January.
guys. Come on. Drop that thumbs up and hit that notification bell. And make sure to check out our boy. All right. Until next time, we're out.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.